Hi, Dr. Tydell again, and we are now in week 6, and we're going to be studying the processes of photosynthesis. Just like cellular respiration was a whole bunch of biochemical reactions that happen in an organelle, photosynthesis is a bunch of biochemical reactions that happen in an organelle. Cellular respiration, the mitochondria, photosynthesis, the chloroplast, and you will hear in my lecture that they are almost like mirror images of each other. So as you master one, it makes it easier to master the other because they use similar strategies. So this week, make sure that by Friday, you have got your cell respiration quiz done. The cell respiration quiz is about the information that you mastered last week, right? And then go ahead and start by reading out the goals and objectives for photosynthesis and print out this photosynthesis handout and keep that near you as you are working through the rest of the lab activity. There's a reason for that. Now, I've got 5 lectures. Oh my gosh, okay? This is one of those occasions where I think that in order to prepare yourself really well for making maximum points on next week's quiz, which will be about photosynthesis, that my lectures are the most important single resource. So make sure that you take good notes because you know that I allow you to use notes on your quizzes. So the photosynthesis lectures, 4 basically is probably covering material that is also being covered by your lecture instructor. Let me make a point about the amount of time it takes to complete labs. If you were taking this class back in the old days when we had in real life meetings, you would spend 1.5 hours in lecture 2 times a week, and you would spend 3 hours in lab 1 time a week. So just sitting around, either doing lab activities, listening to me talk, or listening to your lecture instructor talk, you would be spending 6 hours every week. And that does not include studying. So if people tell me, oh, it took me 3.5 hours to get my lab done, I'm like, you're just at the beginning, right? You're just at the beginning. You need to be spending at least 6 hours just watching videos and doing lab activities and then studying on top of that if you're really going to master Bio120. And for those of you who are interested in going on in the sciences, that is particularly important for you because in your next class, they're going to assume you know this stuff. All right. So don't forget to watch video number 5, the photosynthetic sea slug, because there's a question about it on next week's quiz. Then we've got more printed out activities. Here's the introduction to photosynthesis. Doesn't take you very much time to read it, particularly after you've listened to my lectures. It kind of summarizes the important information. What I really like about the introduction to photosynthesis is at the bottom of that page, there's a video, and it's really a cool video. It's only like 2 minutes long, and it starts off looking at a forest, and then at a tree, and then at a branch, and then at a leaf, and then you zoom into the leaf, and then you look at the outside of cells, and you zoom into a photosynthetic cell, and then you look at a chloroplast, and then you zoom into the chloroplast, and you finally are looking at actual 3-dimensional real renderings of what all of these protein machines that we're talking about, what they actually would look like doing their job. So it's not exactly educational as much as it's super cool, right? The light reactions, you can read that, and the Calvin cycle, read that. Am I tremendously enthusiastic about those? No, I'm not tremendously enthusiastic about that information. I think you will do better by paying more attention to my videos rather than the information on those pages. This is important though, right here, okay? On your photosynthesis handout, there are specifically questions asking you about one of the videos that's in reflected, absorbed, or transmitted light. It's video number 2. Video number 1, I think, is a little bit too much information. If you like physics, you might really like it, but I think it's a little too much information. Video number 2, not only is it the right level of information, but you need the answers to that as you're answering your photosynthesis handout. And then there is only one activity you need to observe, and this is one of the activities that when we meet in real life, we actually do ourselves. We actually have Elodia in a test tube, and we expose it to light, and we measure how much oxygen is produced by photosynthesis when the light is at different distances from the Elodia plant. So these are the two things that you really need to be using to answer the questions here in your photosynthesis handout. And why do you want to do the photosynthesis handout? Because this activity here that you have to do, 30 points of it are that activity, and it essentially is all of the information on your photosynthesis handout. So do your whole photosynthesis handout. Then when you get to the lab activity, you're essentially going, oh, what was the answer to that question? Oh, yes, and the answer will be there on the handout that you've been working your way through. And then there are 3 points for uploading the graph that you are asked to make here in your photosynthesis handout. And then next week, Lord knows what we'll be doing, but I'll send you a video about it.